Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this walkthrough of the Soul Connection cards by Megan Kindred and Nada Orlick. I am trying to remember where I first saw this deck, and if I remember, I will link the source because I'm pretty sure it was in somebody's YouTube video, and it's killing me that I literally can't remember right now. But as soon as I saw the first couple of cards, I was like, purchase. It was definitely an impulse buy. I hope I don't regret that, but the artwork looked really, really beautiful, and I'm excited to dive into it with you guys. It came beautifully packaged. This lovely note was actually tucked into this little ribbon. But there was a really lovely handwritten note by the creator, which I love. Megan Kindred has a website, megankindred.com. It looks like there is a lot of like coaching kind of work there, if I remember correctly. I really liked the deck, so we're gonna get into it. This ribbon though, like, hello, it's so pretty. It's like that wire bound ribbon, so it like, you can tie it into a pretty bow and it stays, and it's, oh, I'm going to save that for sure. Really, really pretty. And as soon as I got this in, I was like, oh my gosh, the box is like a lovely soft touch matte. There's no thumb cutouts, but check this out. So pretty. So on the back, it says Soul Connection Cards, Sounds of the Awakening Soul. The 52 beautifully designed cards enclosed in this deck integrate energetic laws, universal truths, and spiritual practices for experiencing a life aligned with your soul. Through the beauty of the collective consciousness and the awesome power of your own personal energy, these cards provide guidance and a sense of purpose on your personal spiritual journey of awakening and transformation. They provide guidance, encouragement, and direction as to how to maneuver current circumstances and the emotions tied to them all in a soul-filled way aligned with the purpose and expansion of your higher self. Rich in imagery and archetype, the cards combine aesthetics and eye-catching design with hidden symbolism to convey the deeper meanings ascribed to each card. Megan Kindred's Soul Connection cards will inspire you to reawaken your spirit, explore your purpose, and evolve into that version of your aligned self with your soul. Love, 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 love. So, wish it had thumb cutouts, but that box is really, really beautiful. Oh, yay. Oh, the back's definitely one of the things that I love about these cards. So pretty. All right, we're going to dive into the cards. The book is a really nice little, it feels like a perfect bound book. Lovely. We'll get into that in a bit. For now, we're going to get into the artwork. It is a gilded deck. I should point out that when mine arrived, it had this terrible gash in the gilding, which was, this was, I believe, plastic wrapped, but that was not me from opening it. I actually opened it like at the top or the bottom. I can't remember which. I'm very careful because I take a blade and turn it up. Regardless, it's not really a big deal. I suspect that once the cards are shuffled, that won't show anymore, and I don't really want to get the deck replaced or anything over something so silly. But the gilding feels nice, it's smooth, and the cards are matte. But can we look at the backings for a second? Wow. Yeah, you can kind of see even on the backs where that gouging kind of is. It seems to be, I'm sure it's a printing issue. Like during the gilding process, something kind of went funny. Again, not a big deal, and I'm very lucky and very blessed to oftentimes get decks for review and things like that, and little things like this I'm happy to just accept when I purchase a deck sometimes, because I feel like it all balances out, you know what I mean, in the end. So anyway, again, love the backs. They're so pretty. Okay, now this is, from what I remember, kind of a photo collage style deck, mostly photography style artwork with layers that have been manipulated to add color and texture and things like that. It reminds me a lot of a style like some of the Colette Baron Reid, Jenna De La Grataglia decks, just slightly. So we'll see. There are art styles I like better, just being honest, but I think these are really, really beautiful from what I've seen so far, and I really loved the aesthetic overall, and the look of the cards combined with the keywords from what I had seen just like blew me away. So let's get into it. Here we have the Union card, and you get this feeling of underwater photography and these two people very wrapped up together, and I love that. It's very immersed in the emotion. Love. playfulness. And here it's like somebody is holding out and like making magic between their hands. I love that. I love all the flowers and the like freedom of movement. It looks as if she's been twirling or something. Really lovely. Distraction. And you really get that feeling of trying to shut out stuff from outside, noise from outside, and find your inner peace. Patience. I love these sacred spirals and the stillness and the hourglasses here. Oh. Reconnect. Something to point out that I did notice when I first saw this deck, a lot of the people, these are obviously like studio photos, I guess you could say, like photos where people are very like prettified. These aren't like random snapshots taken out in life or anything. So everything's got this very like artistic perfection about it. I would not go to a deck like this for like body acceptance work for that reason, because you're not going to see a lot of diversity of body types or ages or anything like that in this deck. I just think it's just very dreamy and lovely, but I would use it for certain types of work and probably not others because of that perfected look to all the people in the deck. Just something that you should be aware of. Again, I think it's beautiful, but we're going to continue. Release. I love how these flower petals are kind of like shedding in a way. Really interesting. And you also get the feeling like the crown almost is also sort of disintegrating. And there's these like creatures kind of floating around that actually remind me of these little like wispy creatures from Avatar movies, which I love. I say Avatar movies because I know there's going to be another one someday, please. Someday. I loved the first one. Anyway, all right, moving on. Intuition. I love this with the hands out, the eyes closed, the butterfly alighting on the nose. That's just, oh, it's very, very pretty. Partnership. These two actually look like they could be up to no good. And I kind of like that because not all partnerships are aligned with the highest of intentions. So it gives you kind of both angles you can look at it with, which I like. Admiration. Good use of color. I feel like every card has a very specific color palette and it really goes with the theme of the card. Self-care. This is so pretty. And again, one of the cards, this may have actually been the card that I pulled the trigger on because I loved all the roses, the softness, the lavenders and the pinks, and the shock of the red hair there. It's just, oh, so pretty. The Peacemaker with the little dove in hand, the little wings here on the stone. The dove flying off in the background. It's just, oh, really, really, really pretty. Treasure unlocked. Yes. Authenticity. The designs for these cards were created by Nada Orlick, and the deck itself's creator is Megan Kindred. I love when both names are on the front of the guidebook and on the front of the box, so thank you, Megan, for doing that. I really appreciate it, because these designs are absolutely stunning, and this is a collaborative experience. You know, one person is the deck creator, and they may direct the art and choose from the art and decide what goes with what keyword and all that kind of stuff. But I love when both get credit. Okay, I'm just like babbling today. Authenticity, I love this. I love the physical posture, this very like arms wide open, chest out, chin lifted. It's a very evocative of that sense of like, I'm going to let my light shine. And I love that. Deception, yes, with the color palette. Yes, with the moodiness of this image and the mask. Yes. Patterns. I love that it's like a kaleidoscope here. Uncharted territory. Like, look at these little like compass, like sea map, the coloring. You get the naval compass. Is that what you call it? Like map kind of elements. Yet she's like, you almost get the shape of her as if she's on the bow of a ship, like literally holding the light out as, you know, one's sailing into the depths of the sea at night. It's pretty. It's just very pretty. And I like really appreciate it. New beginnings. I love that she's like walking this path towards a ship. There's balloons in the sky in the background and a bright moon in the sky, and very, 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 very magical. It's a very sort of fairy tale-ish world. I love the red leaves and all the blues in this card. It says moving on. And what better symbology than falling leaves at autumn for moving on? Just gorgeous. Withdraw. Pulling away, yes. Illusions. We can see very clearly that she's not seeing clearly. We can see very clearly that she's not seeing clearly. I hope somebody followed that because in my head it made sense. Solitude. I love the bubble. The literal bubble of this card is so gorgeous. Again, we have the underwater photography happening here. Acceleration. This is such an interesting image. This is probably one that I don't immediately like, that doesn't immediately grab me because she's in a reclining pose that many people can't do in that way. So there's that. And it's just distracting to me as somebody who teaches yoga for lots of different bodies, or has taught yoga for lots of different bodies. That just kind of mildly annoys me. But the positioning aside, if I were to take this in, yeah, it's just hard for me. I'm very distracted by it. I love the way that this like is taking off here, but I'm not sure how I feel about that image. We'll see. Now that I've said that, it'll probably come up during our random draw and I'll read about it. But if not, I'll read about it after the video. Power. Yes, I love that she's got a crown. I love that she's looking you dead in the face. Lots of sovereignty in this card. Authority. Yes, I love these like empowered images, color palette, this like rulership in this card. Very emperor vibes from this card. I love it. Triumph. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Wise counsel. Indeed. Yeah, it's very fantasy world. Leadership. It's a little gentler than the authority card, right? I love that. Choices. All these like paper cranes flying all around. Service. Oh, yes. Laughter. Here we have another mask, but this is a playful mask. It is a lighthearted mask. It's mirth. It's not deception. And a lot of that is conveyed with the facial expression, the color palette, all of that stuff. Truth. Very justicey, that card. Waiting. This literally reminds me of the scene from, and there's a hourglass here too. This reminds me from the scene in the Anne of Green Gables movie, where they're playing the Lady of Shalott. It just so beautiful. Love that. Strength. Oh, so fierce. I love this. I love this. Super warrior-y energy. This is a very, I don't think there's any boys in this deck. This is all female or female presenting. And I'm okay with that for certain types of decks. It's not my favorite. I do prefer balance. But I appreciate the art in this deck so much and the way it's put together and the thought to all the different color palettes and the way they're put together to convey the meaning and all that stuff, that I can kind of like be like, okay, well, also I like girls. So like, you know, I mean, that's a thing. But I do enjoy this deck. We'll see if it's one that I actually reach for, but from just looking at it, it's so beautiful. I just want to look at it. Endurance. Sorry, I went off the rails again. Stand your ground. Another really fierce, strong card. Yes. Spiritual assistance. I absolutely love that this is an angel on the sea, because I've been working with this kind of combination of oceany and angelic energy lately, and I just love the way the two play together. It's beautiful. Transformation. Love, love, love. Celebration. Another mask, but with a much more sort of regal vibe, right? Much more lush and luxe than the other cards. Go for it. Shoot the arrow. Love that. Resolution. I like this. I had to really think about this for a second because I was like, resolution. And there's different ways to use the word resolution, but here it's like a peace offering, like resolving conflict, right? It's like this softer energy. Consideration. Love. Communication. I love this card. I love it. This whole like one eye open, mouth closed, like it definitely conveys this idea of like thinking before you speak, recognizing you may not have the whole picture. There's so much you can dive into with that image. Desire to be seen. I mean, arguably these are stunning photographs that have then been played with, and I adore it. Silent suffering. Oh yes. Emotional balance. Ooh, I love the depth and the darkness in this card. Reflection. Quiet revel. Sacrifice. Again, in the sea. Love, 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 love. Searching. Getting near the bottom. Hidden Gifts. Forgiveness. Ooh, love this, like, looks like she's like literally sleeping in a bed of roses. So soft. Secrets. I love that this is very icy and snowy. That's really, really pretty. So gorgeous. Let's give these a shuffle. We'll draw a card. We'll take a look at the guidebook. All that good stuff. Oh, I should zoom this out. Hold on. There we go. That's better. Yeah, this feels like a 350 GSM. It's real sturdy. It's got a little bit of flex to it. I will say the gilding is a little bit hard on the thumbs. So there's that. And here is the side that has that gouge. And you can tell as I shuffle, it's a little less pronounced. You can still see that there's indentations in those spots. But that's not really a deal breaker. I would consider... let me just take a look at the cards here. I think I would consider actually cutting the gilding off. And yeah, because the titles are actually up quite high from the bottom and in quite far from the sides, as are the numbers. They're not like right on the edge there or anything. So I think I could trim this down. And I noticed that on the backings too, there's like a little bit of space on all the sides. So I feel like I could take just the tiniest bit off of each border and get rid of the gilding and then just re-edge it myself, which would deal with this gouging issue. And also it is a little bit hard on the thumbs and fingers to shuffle decks that have this kind of gilding when they're this sturdier cardstock. But it's a nice, smooth cardstock. It's not rose petal finish or anything, so it slides together really, really beautifully. Let's grab a card. Quiet Rebel. Okay, so let's set that to the side and take a look at the book. So... we have a table of contents, hooray, and it does look like no. Oh, the cards are numbered. I was like, it's not alphabetical. The cards are numbered. I'm being silly. Okay, so you get a bit in here about the Soul Connection cards, how they came to be, how to use them, and then you get right into messages, and I'm guessing there's nothing at the end, just an about the author and about the designer, and that is it. So let's take a look at card 47. And see what we think of the message in the guidebook. This is a deck that I don't think I'd really use with the guidebook that much, but let's just see. A personal accomplishment that goes unnoticed by those around you. We acknowledge your achievement and want you to know that your continued efforts will have a positive and lasting result. This matter is a private journey for you, and although it seemingly is not noticed by others, your sense of personal pride and confidence are palpable to those closest to you. Know they're happy for you and feel inspired by how you're carrying yourself. Additional meanings: overcoming obsessions and addictions, whether physical, mental, or emotional. Oh my gosh, I just totally made up a word. Or emotional. Noticeable changes in physical appearance. Based on that, like, I think it's fine. Like, it gives you a good message, and that's great. I think I would probably use this intuitively because they're great expansive keywords, and I feel like, unless I wasn't sure what something meant, and I don't think there was anything like that in here. Distraction, waiting, go for it, hidden gifts. Yeah, I think I would be just fine using this deck intuitively, so that is probably how I will be using it. I need to figure out what bag it's going to get because look at that color. I do love the gold. So the funny thing is, if I trim this, I will probably re-edge it in a gold ink because I like the contrast of the blue and the gold. It's really pretty. So that, my friends, is the Soul Connection cards by Megan Kindred. I think it's real, real pretty. Let's move that out of the way. There we go. So I'd be curious to hear what you guys think. I think it's really lovely. It reminds me very much of like mass market Oracle decks, but this is independent. I did order it from Megan Kindred's website. It was very reasonably priced, if I remember correctly. And I'm pleased. This is one of the decks this is actually, I believe, the first deck, if I'm not mistaken, that I brought into my collection in 2021. I'm just finally getting around to sharing the walkthrough. So that is the Soul Connection cards. Please do share your thoughts on this deck down below. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the walkthrough. Subscribe if you're new here. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you are notified when I put up new content, go live here on YouTube, all that kind of fun stuff. As always, I will have links in the description box down below to ways that you could support the channel, as well as links to important things like the Facebook group and 3 Fat Readers and other things that happen. So check those out in the description box. And as always, may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye, guys.